For centuries, the West taught us that a story is an arrow. It is shot from a bow, it travels a single trajectory, and it hits a target. Beginning, middle, end. But our ancestors, the ones who sat under the Vata Vriksha, the great banyan, knew better. They didn't see stories as arrows, they saw them as roots. A single trunk that drops a branch, which becomes a new trunk, which drops another branch, until you can no longer tell where the forest starts and the tree ends. We are told today that large language models and agentic workflows are disrupting narrative. I disagree. I believe we are finally returning home. We are moving away from the linearity of the book and returning to the simultaneity of the Purana. Most of human history was built on linear stories because our physical tools were limited. A scroll unrolls in one direction. A film reel turns in one direction. We've been trained to think in straight lines, but the technology we are holding now doesn't think in sequences. It thinks in latent space. When you prompt an AI, you aren't starting a sequence. You are dropping a seed into a high-dimensional field of infinite probability. It sees every possible ending, every permutation, and every branch simultaneously. This is the shift from a story to a space. We are moving toward a state of flow, where humans provide the seed and the AI branches out millions of possibilities in real time. You don't consume a version, you explore a multitude. You don't follow a story, you navigate it. Think of the Mahabharata. It is not a book, it is a recursive, multi-threaded architecture. Every side story is a sub-agent processing a different ethical prompt. It is an itihasa, something that happens eternally in cycles with infinite variations. This leads me to a prediction. The human brain will lose its patience for the fixed ending. Our evolution is moving toward content that adapts, responds, and rewrites itself based on your behavior. Perhaps even your real-time neural feedback. I call this the return of the Kataka. The ancient wandering storyteller didn't follow a rigid script. They watched the eyes of the audience. If the village leaned in, the battle grew longer. If a child looked away, the forest became more magical. This was a biological feedback loop. Tomorrow, your content will be a digital Kataka, connected to your biometrics, sensing your heart rate and your focus, morphing the narrative as you live it. But there is a weight to this freedom. Linear stories were a cage, but they were also a sadhana, a spiritual discipline. They forced us to look at truths we didn't choose and walk paths we didn't design. They gave us a shared truth. If the story always bends to your feedback, if the ending is always what you want it to be, we risk falling into Maya, a self-created illusion where the world is just a mirror of our own preferences. In a world of infinite branches, the hardest thing to find will be a ground that stays still. The straight line is gone. We are no longer readers of a finished work. We are gardeners of a probability tree. The question is no longer what happens next. The question is, now that you can see every path, do you have the soul to choose just one?